Around 30 members of the Free Presbyterian Church have been picketing the Grand Opera House in Belfast this evening. The protesters say they're concerned at the content of a play called Naked Flame, which is being staged there. But theatre management say the concerns are unfounded.
Absolutely no nudity at all. There's some male flesh. I mean, you know, we see torsos, but absolutely no nudity.
Free Presbyterians staged a protest outside the Opera House in Belfast last night at the launch of Naked Flame, an adult-only show about a group of firemen.
I mean, those who produce these things should have regard for decency and morality. Unfortunately, they don't. All they're interested in is the box office.
Welcome back. Theatre-goers on their way into a new play which opened at the Grand Opera House in Belfast last night were greeted, if that's the word, by hymn-singing, placard-waving Free Presbyterians. Ivan Little reports.
About 25 members of the Free Presbyterian Church, most of them men, gathered outside the Grand Opera House last night as theatre-goers, most of them women, arrived to see the comedy Naked Flame. Billed as a raunchy new adult Sunday show about a photographer trying to get firefighters to recruit for a nude calendar, with the emphasis on farce rather than arson. They may have been poles apart, so to speak, but as the protesters sang their hymns, they didn't realise that a number of onlookers, him and him, were members of the cast who couldn't understand why the demonstrators were so fired up. However, they didn't engage in any heated debates or blazing rows.
It's kind of slightly odd because they're giving us the best publicity we've had of anywhere we've been. But I was astounded, really.
Aunties and uncles have seen it, and parents have seen the play, and they've all enjoyed it. We've had theatre chaplains see the play, and all loved it. One was going to recommend it to his other theatre.
Sean, I said I don't mix business with pleasure.
Oh, never mind the business. I'm just after the pleasure.
Our Father, we give thee thanks tonight for every token of thy love.
The Free Presbyterians defended their protest. They admitted they hadn't seen the play, but said it had been described in press releases as hot stuff. What would your interpretation of hot stuff be then?
Well, we will certainly view it as being an immoral thing, and setting forth that which is totally against what the Bible sets forth as being moral standards. And we are for the upholding of moral standards, not for the downgrade of moral standards, which productions like this certainly promote.
So what does this mean? I've been entered for this calendar carry-on.
That's right.
But are you sure my body makes the grade?
It's very light-hearted. It's in the end, in a way, quite innocent, harmless. It's frothy entertainment. It's clear to the people who come and see it what it is. Nobody is shocked when they see the play. And as I said, I think it does no harm.
I just don't understand it, because I thought this was the first night, and I assume anybody protesting must have seen it before and don't like what they see, so I'm a bit confused about that. I think it's a girls' night out. I think it's a good bit of clean fun, and I think we're entitled to do it.
I notice it's all men that are out there singing, so whether they're ashamed of their own bodies, tough, maybe they are.
Some people who arrived by taxi were oblivious to the protest.
What a protest!
You haven't noticed?
No!
Didn't say it's immoral.
Immoral? We like immoral things. No, definitely not.
We're all for it.
Whose trousers are these?
Oh, Sean's. Yes, he was going to pose for me.
Without his trousers? On fire service premises?
So whether it's hoses or hosannas, helmets or hellfire, the Naked Flame will be burning brightly here until the end of the week. Ivan Little, UTV Live, at the Grand Opera House in Belfast.
Well, now, we guarantee you no protests for our next item. It's a fully clothed Adrian Logan.
Thank goodness for that.
How do you know, Paul?
Scott.
Up to 30 people took part in the protest, saying they were concerned about the content of the play.
The content of it is immoral. The very fact that it's adults only indicates that the content of it is not, they're not very forthcoming in relation to the content. But obviously the review indicates that it is something of an immoral nature. And that's why we're here. We're here standing for standards that have been forsaken.
People arriving to see the play on its first night said the protest wouldn't change their mind.
They shouldn't try and shove it down other people's throat. You know, we don't stand outside their church and go and watch men taking their clothes off. You know, I don't see the point in it really. It's harmless fun.
I think they're hypocrites that they can't let everybody live. It's a sad world that people can't go and see a show without protest like that outside. We're now living in the new millennium, and everybody should be available and let live what they want to do.
You're probably one of the few men to come and watch it here this evening. Why are you here?
Why? I go to all the shows in the Opera House. I love theatre. I've been in the theatre all my life, and why can't I go and see whatever show I want to see?
The play tells the story of a group of firemen who pose for an adult calendar, but its content isn't controversial according to those responsible for staging it.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if the protesters out there have a particular view, that's fine. I mean, that's their opinion. But equally, the freedom of the people who've bought tickets to come here tonight, I think, should be respected. We see torsos, but absolutely no nudity.
There's nobody enjoys humour more than myself and all of us here, but there is humour and humour, and I think that there is a polluted sense and a distorted sense of humour, and we are standing for purity.
The Naked Flame will continue its run until Saturday. Dermot Wynne, BBC News, Belfast.